Hey everyone, it is Larry here at LC Model Shipbuilding. Been a minute since we've done a video. Just had a lot going on with work and haven't really been able to get into modeling as much as I'd like to. So this video is going to be the Verandah Cafe and Palm Court, and that's Woody's Model Works, or Maritime Model Works photo etch brass kit, sorry. And then we have our flooring and whatnot from the Facebook Trumpeter 1/200th model group, which is free to print out on there. So anyway, stay tuned and we'll get started now. Thanks for watching. Okay, so here we are, back again. We got our deck glued down all the way across. I didn't do the flooring yet in here because I decided I'm going to start here and work my way back. Now, while we were gone, over the past week here, I did find a file for Grand Staircase. Let me grab it. For what I'm going to use for the lower decks. I was originally going to use my scratch built ones, but printed these out, and I'm pretty happy with them. So going to end up using them, not for this particular one. I just have this one here. I'm looking for my lower deck one. Where'd it go? I just had it a minute ago. So this is one that I had scratch built, but my other one is well, here's the lower deck ones. So I don't have them all cut out yet on this, but they will drop in very nicely right into where I want them to. So I can use these on the lower deck. It will work out perfectly fine. I'm still going to use these ones going on the B deck down to, or the B deck going down to C deck. Then these will be B deck going up to A deck, and then obviously the one that goes up to the boat deck for the forward one once I get that all figured out. So anyway, getting ready next to, we're going to start with our Verandah Cafe and Palm Courts back here. So that's what's mainly going to happen in this video as we're starting to move forward. So let me grab them and get them painted up, and we'll be back. Okay, so here is our walls for our veranda and Palm Court. So I've already painted them, as you can see. A lot of detail going on there. So we're going to get these cut out and go ahead and get them installed. Okay, so one thing I realized was the walls inside here should be green up against white. So I repainted them green. So there they are. I have the other ones over there, but they're on a holder. I went ahead and cut out my my door entries here, which would have been glass doors. So I'll use a piece of acetate for them. I just want to get a couple pictures of them to make sure that I'm pretty much accurate to what I want. And then I will go ahead and paint this our white. Now, I'm not going to weather any of the inner deck because that would have been pretty well concealed. I weathered the forecastle and the poop deck and the well deck, and I'll end up weathering the boat deck. But these decks down here, like I said, being concealed with the windows, and even along here where this would go on the back half in the promenade there, it's more open, but it still wouldn't be that weathered. I will probably weather the fantail back here where the mast goes. I know I'm kind of just showing it with my hand, but in any case, I'm just kind of explaining that through a minute. Now, the windows in here are stained glass, and I talked to Woody today about the the first class smoking lounge, and he's looking at the feasibility, well, not feasibility, but buyability of if people would buy the second class or the first class smoking lounge, being that it's covered in stained glass. I personally would, and I told him that, and I know he just put a post on his page asking about it from potential customers, but I'm going to let him make that determination over the next couple days, and then I will decide whether I'm going to scratch build mine or if I'm going to wait around until he builds his, which really wouldn't be that big of a deal. It'd just be a matter of popping this down on top and waiting until it's in. So what we're going to do here at this point, I was just cleaning up a couple little pieces of scrap. I'm going to bring the deck over, and we're going to start bending our PE to fit in that room for the palm court and veranda, or not veranda, yeah, veranda. Just want to take these clamps off. So the deck is down and good and smooth, so I'm happy with that. So what I got to look at here, these are the other pieces. What I got to look at here is comparing the room to figure out where the interior space is and where the exterior space is. So these two here are exterior, and they have the cutout for where the doorway would go. So from the inside, essentially like that, and then there will be a wall back here. Now I want to leave the space for the doorway because there will be a doorway that goes through there as well. But I'm going to go ahead and cut out the rest of the pieces here so that we can get ready to install them where they belong. The two side pieces are both essentially the same, it appears. So nothing too challenging there. One other note for the inside of this, I did have to cut the plastic that Trumpeter had there, basically to block light, so that's gone. Just calling that out. So let me get the my knife here and cut these out. Oops, wrong one. So I'm going to cut these out a minute, and then we'll start bending and pick up from there after that. So I'll be right back. Okay, so one thing to take into consideration, the rise right here, which I will trim off on the boat deck, but too late for this deck, really should go because it will create a separation between the wall and this when I put it down. So what I'm doing to rectify that is just using a very decent pair of nippers that I'm coming along and just cutting it off. I should have caught that when I was getting ready to put the flooring down, but I did not, and that's okay. This will work. Just would have been nicer to have it done prior to putting the deck down. So I'm coming all the way back around the whole room. Now I'm not going to do the second class smoking room. I keep saying second class, first class smoking room. I'll leave those on there because I have a weird feeling just with what the time frame looks like. I'm going to end up probably still scratch building mine. But we will see as time goes, because I just don't know if until Woody gets it built or created and all that kind of stuff, how many weeks we're at, but we'll see. So more to be decided there. Now the other thing, you can see here I already cut away the deck, and I did not show what I do in my process on the lower deck. So basically, the first time around, I tried to do it with pencil, and what that did was it made it overly enlarged, and I found that out down on the B deck. So what I've done with this is I basically set my building down and then just kind of cut the outline out along it to score the edge. And you have to go slow because you don't want to obviously go into your deck where you're not trying to trim out. But this will give you kind of a guide then, so that you're able to trim it away the rest of the way. So now you can see there is a score mark there, and I simply kind of lift under it and just pop it up with the knife. The biggest thing is you just want to make sure you're staying straight, because that mark will show through if you mismeasured or miscut, and you'll see black around your building, which, if worst case scenario, I'll just take a little bit of tan paint along that, and nobody really will be the wiser. So I'm just basically following the score mark. And the reason we do this, as you get higher in your decks, if you don't trim away this distance, your decks are not going to line up correctly. So my build might be a little bit different than the actual, like if I was just building a static model that the decks weren't ever going to come off. But I still know the reality is, no matter how I cut it, or no matter how I do it, it's still going to have that raised amount in there. And mine's going to be screwed down. It's not going to be glued down, but it still is going to have a raised amount if I don't cut it away. So pretty much no matter how you do this, you're still going to have to cut away the edge of these decks. Like I said, when I tried to do it with a pencil, it overshot the amount of space you need to cut. So that's why I found this to be the better route to go. It is annoying work, honestly, but it has to be done. And the harder part is if you got a lot of glue on the edge. Now, I tried not to put my clamps and toothpicks, not toothpicks, but popsicle sticks that close to the edge, because I knew I was going to have to do this. But you still get glue that seeps down through it. So that's that. I'm going to pause it while I finish out the rest of this because you basically kind of get the idea, but I just wanted to kind of show that. Okay, so I got the one side on over here already, and I got these guys painted up. So these are the walls. I did paint the windows white because that appears to be what they were. Now, one thing I did find, I had to add 2 little pieces of flooring. So I'm going to do that on the front side before I actually put this in, just because it'll be a tad bit easier. So I'm going to add the flooring because we have a walkway that goes out here to the deck, and this goes back just a little bit farther with how it is set. So, or is it this one here goes here, so the length is basically out to about there, which is okay, not a big deal. I just need to add a little bit to it. So I'm going to add that, and then we'll come back, get these bent up and put on. Okay, so my flooring adjustment is on. I know it's pretty close to being where it needs to be on here, but it'll be fine. You're not going to really see it too bad. So what we're going to do now is put down some glue, and first thing we're going to take this, and the window tops actually have a little bit, they're separated from the rest of the piece, and you want to just slightly bend this down because there's a curve in that wall, but the windows stay straight, and like I said, they are separated. And then what I did on the last one, just to make sure I didn't lose the straightness of them, I just kind of pulled it back with the knife blade here. And there we go. And we're just going to dab it along the bottom into some glue here. And then I'm going to put it right onto the spot there where it goes. And now you can see how it's bent down a little bit right there, and it gives it that shape. So then we do the same thing with the back wall, which on this one is a little bit easier because there's not a door on this one. On the other side there was a small door there, and I did consider doing the ivy on the wall, but I really don't think it's going to be that noticeable, and I'm okay with how it turned out in the Cafe Parisien, but I actually kind of prefer it without. So we're just going to leave it as is, and it's actually correct because I've seen 2 different pictures. Titanic did definitely have ivy, but Olympic did not always have ivy, at least from pictures that I've seen. So I think they kind of ran both ways, or maybe they stopped using ivy down the road or down a couple years in, but whatever. Now I just put a little bit of glue on the seam right there where it comes together. I just want to get it a little bit more straight here. Sorry about that like weird noise in the background there. I'm printing something, and it's just making a weird noise. Okay, there we go. Now we have our doorway one, which also, again, has the curvature to it. So we'll bend that down, and bend this one down. Now, there would have been 2 sliding doors that were glass in here with some metal framing, and I debated what I was going to do with that. Luckily, in my extra pieces that I have, I had ordered the Cafe Parisien in the wood that Neil offers, so the brass is left over, and I won't be using that. So I'm going to, I'll show you here in a second. I'm going to use the door. I'm going to use these door frames here and here to, and that's, I'm sorry, that was from Private Promenade. But I'm going to use these 2 door frames right here, and they're going to become my my door frames going into the veranda. And I'm not going to use the outer edge, just the inners, because I'm going to make it as they're partially slid. So that's my plan for that. Just thought I'd cover that. And now we got one more wall here to go, which is our outer wall. Now this one, I did not do the bend on the other side, and I'm not going to do it on this side because I don't think it's going to work. So this one's just getting essentially the outer bend, or the wall shape bend. So just want to make sure I got it close here before I glue, and that should be about right. So now we're just going to do the same thing here, put some glue down on it. Now the window frames for the outer windows, they go on the outside, and they are white, so obviously I don't have to worry about them currently. I do believe, from what I've seen in researching, they may be the only windows on the entire ship that were white. So also you'll notice I cut the archway off over on here. You'll never see it when it's on the ship, not a big deal, but I did that because I had to cut out the bottom here so that there wasn't a goofy step going up into here that did not exist. So just want to make sure we're fitting properly, and yes, we are. Just a little bit there needs to move. Yes. Okay. So now from the back, oops, that was my knife. You can see that you're able to see in there, and you can't see the doorway that was here on this side, but you can on this side. So like I said, I'm going to cut that away, and then I'll make the glass doors from those other windows. Now we have one more piece of brass that goes with the Private Promenade, or the cafe here, the Palm Court, God, sorry. And that is the revolving doors. So I have the paint for that drying, and they go over here with a door frame that goes around it. So as soon as that dries, we'll come back and put that on. But there we go. In here would be the staircase, so I'm going to try to, what I think I'm going to do is put some columns in here. I'm not going to actually cut that out. Although I might, because I could run lighting wiring from there. I don't know, I'll determine that here shortly. But I'll put some columns in here just so if you could see through there, which you kind of can, it will be fine. So let me work on that and we'll be back. Okay, something to mention. I painted the back side of this wall white because when you look through, you could see brass on the other side. So I just wanted to point that out quick that I did that. Minor detail, but it would look really weird if it was a brass wall. So we'll be back. Okay, so the furniture, I've seen it both in white and in tan. I'm going to do the tan again using the same color I used for the what do you call it? Not the Private Promenade, the the other thing, the Parisian Cafe, and then I'll do a dark burgundy for the seats and white tabletop. So gonna get the airbrush out quick, primer this, and then paint it. And then while I'm doing that and letting this all dry up, I'm gonna start putting the columns down on the grand staircase. So let me pause it and I'll be back. Okay, so I got my cushions painted on here, and I'm gonna paint my tabletops white, and then we're going to hit this with a coat of clear coat. And in the meantime, while I'm doing that, I'm going to put together the doors over here. I was talking about a little bit ago after I get this clear coated. I know a little bit ago I was saying I was going to start the grand staircase. I might have actually said that a little bit earlier in a video, or in the video, but that is going to end up being its own entire entity of video, because this is the upper deck that the aft grand staircase hits. So that whole video will end up being Woody's Model Works, or Maritime Model Works, whatever we want to call it, same thing, but it's going to end up being an entire video just focused on that. So I'm not going to start that with this this setup. Now, the one thing I would say that I might do while this is drying, just to kind of kill part of the video here, is go ahead and put furniture in the second class, the first class smoking lounge. It really won't be visible aside from when I have the deck off, in case I want to show somebody or whatever. But we'll put a wall here, we'll put the fireplace in, we'll put some couches and not poles, but columns along here where they go, and some tables and chairs that were left over from other parts that I've done already. And by that point, this should be about dry, and we'll finish up the video from there. So I'm going to go ahead and paint these. They'll look better kind of once they're cut out and bent up and all that. Right now you can't really see a whole lot, not to mention they're very tiny. Okay, while that's drying, actually, we're going to go ahead and start this part, because I almost forgot about this. And this is the revolving door that goes right here. So these are pretty basic and pretty simple. If I wanted to get really fancy with it, I guess I could put some acetate in it, in the window, but you will never ever see it, so I'm probably not going to bother doing that. But these simply kind of slide into each other like that, and then that, I'm going to put a little dab of CA on it just because I want it to stay, and I don't want it to be a part that could rattle off or fall off from movement. So let me get some glue. That's gel. Well, Just open up a new pack of glue here. And I'm not using much. It's just literally going to be a dab on there. Whoa. Don't want to drip. So we're going to use a toothpick. And this is a gel glue, but that's okay for what I'm doing here. And I'm just going to put a small dab right there where they kind of come together. Okay. Then that, I'm also going to use glue on the bottom here just to kind of give it its location, and I want it to hold on, so that's part of the reason going a little thick here. And we're just going to slide it under the threshold here, which with the bend in there seems to be a bit challenging. I don't know if it's the bend or not. I don't like how that goes necessarily. You know what? It's the flooring. The flooring does not account for that. Okay, so I'm pulling up on that just a little bit, and I'm going to reshape it with my fingers once I get the door in. There we go. So it's in. I got a little bit of glue on the carpet, but I don't really know if I had much of a choice. That was kind of tight. So now I'm just going to reshape this. With a tweezer. Okay. Now there's a trim piece that goes over this anyhow, so I'm not really that worried about the fact that you might be able to right now kind of see that a little bit from the front, because once I put the trim piece over it, I'm not really too concerned, and you won't be able to see it at all. So this is the trim right here. Okay. And that will kind of have like a bend to it. So I'm just going to kind of bend it a little bit right there. And we're going to put some on the bottom, some along the edge here where it meets the wall, and the same thing over here. Okay. Jeez. Luckily it's landing where it's not going to affect anything. That basically is going to ride right on there. So I'm going to reposition that just a little bit by the picture here to get it exact, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I readjusted that. Now, looking at this, where it comes down, there will be a deck that goes over top of this. So my lighting wires are going to have to come down into here. So I'm going to end up drilling a hole probably here and a hole probably here. And then I'll probably draw 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then maybe a couple in the grand staircase area. I'm not going to make the windows, not windows, but the doors at this point, because that will attach to this on the inside of the walls here, and there's no real point in doing that. Now, I did have to kind of reshape this a little bit, and I used a round file to kind of get my archway back in it a little bit. They're not quite exactly perfect, but I might do a little frame kind of thing around it, and that should kind of take away from it. But I think I'm going to probably go ahead and paint this, and then start putting down the furniture like I said right here. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll be back. Okay, so I do have one section of grand staircase that I need to use. I need this back wall right here, so I can make my turbine room, which basically goes here. But I want to make sure I get my measurement right onto that. So I'm going to at least set that piece for now, and that won't really affect anything for the next video. So we're just gonna pop that off quick. Okay, so I'll just set that over there for right now. So the wall for this basically turns right here. You can see the little I don't know if you can see through there. There's two little slits right there, and you can barely see them, but that is where your wall turns back at 90, and then here it turns to the side at 90. So essentially we get that shape right there, and then we do the exact same thing over on the other side here, and we're just going to bend that back and bend that over, and there we go. So that is our back wall to the grand staircase, which will go right here, and pretty much looks like I got my furniture, or not my furniture, my carpet line essentially perfect. So I'm really happy with that. That wasn't bad considering I didn't measure it, so I'll take it. All right, so I'm not actually going to glue that on. I just really wanted to make sure that I connect my wall in the right place. And then this wall comes right up to the bay window, basically. So that's how that will look. So I'm going to glue these down, get my front wall cut, and you can also see I did this wall over here. We're going to have a fireplace here and some furniture kind of going around it. So that's that. So let me go ahead and pause it, and I will be back. Okay, so we got our turbine casing here, and we're ready to basically put furniture down into here. So I got to paint up my columns that will go in here, and I already painted the furniture that will go into this space. I don't know if I'll have it done yet in this video. So what we're going to do is follow the layout in Ship Magnificent here, and I'm basically just going to set the tables exactly how they were in the book here. So that's the plan anyway. I did go ahead and use the fake printed out wood for the outside of here and here. I'm not going to do the outer walls. I'll probably just paint them brown because they'll be inside here, and again, you'll never ever see it, but that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just basically start trimming these back and getting them ready to glue in, And once we do that, I think we're probably going to just wrap up the video. I'll do this along with the grand staircase. That way it'll kind of put one full video together. I know I've just been kind of hopping around in this video saying back and forth that I was going to do it, but I think in the long run it will probably make more sense for me to just do it in one shot. I will go ahead and demonstrate how these get bent, which is pretty similar to the previous videos that I've done in the past with other furniture. But just since we're here doing it now, first we're going to fold down the front of the chair. Then we're going to fold the seat cushion up like that. I kind of bent it goofy. There we go. And then we're going to fold the two sides in. And there is our chair. And that goes right in front of this window here. Oh, one thing I was going to show too, for the people that are going to be inside here, I got a set on eBay or Amazon, I forget which. They're pre-painted, and they're not overly detailed, but they will work really good for this, especially in this area. I think Model Boat Guy used similar, if not the same ones, but they were cheap. I think they're like $5 for 200 of them. I'll show them in a minute. They're over in another box, so I'll grab them because I'm going to, now that I have them, just kind of set them as I'm going, unlike how I did some of the rooms in the lower deck. I'm folding the back this time first. But we're going to go ahead and get these set up, and then once I get these folded, I'll pause it probably and just start gluing down and getting them ready to set. And then when we come back, I'll just kind of show what we're finishing out at. That one goes there. And then, let's see, another couch comes over on the other wall across from it. So, I'll do that. And then we got the tables, which basically are the same, legs fold down. It's pretty basic, so maybe I'll show it once we're going. But I'm gonna go ahead and start putting this together, and we'll be back. Okay, so I put the first set of people in, and tables and chairs. I'll show that a little bit up close here. 1 second to move this. So you can see them there. They are not the most detailed people, and that's okay for what we're doing here. They won't really be visible, so there they kind of are, and you can see them. So that works, and I'm going to go ahead and put the furniture in this one, and then we're pretty much going to wrap up this video. So be right back. Okay, so got the second side done, and you can see quite a few people in there, and that kind of gives you a little bit of context as if it were real. So you got some people like conversating there. I used these tan guys that, not tan, but like off-white type jackets that are supposed to be kind of the bellhops or wait staff, and got a couple people sitting there. When you actually would be looking in, you'll get kind of that effect going on, which obviously it's kind of hard to tell like that. So we'll just kind of toss that on for a minute, and obviously it'll be lit in there, but you definitely will be able to see, you know, people and seats and all that good stuff in there. So that is going to wrap up this video. Where we're going from here, I've had some time to really think about this as I was going. The next video is going to be grand staircase right here, and we're going to do that, and probably the pieces that we're going to put in here. I'm not going to go crazy in here. I was going to do it and completely do it up, but the fact that there's stained glass windows, that's going to cover a lot of things, and I can use this kind of as an electrical hub for the lighting, because obviously we'll have lights here, we'll have lights here. I probably will knock this down and put a staircase in there. There is 2 little windows in there, so it might be worthwhile to do, but I'll make that decision kind of as I go. But yeah, next video more than likely is going to be focused on getting this grand staircase done. We'll paint this up and do all of our windows on this, put our acetate on there from Midwest Model Shop, and basically get this put down and our lighting put in, and my lighting from B deck will come up right into here, and basically I think, like I said, I'm going to make this kind of an electrical junction area, just because it kind of makes sense to do that. So anyway, stay tuned. Next video, I promise, won't take as long to get out. Just had a lot of stuff going on with work, like I said earlier, and it is what it is, so work has to come first. But anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. Please give us a like and subscribe, and we'll continue making our video of our eventually sailing Trumpeter Titanic. All right, we'll see you next time. Thank you very much.